What's up, everybody? Ooh, sun kicking my butt. Can't deal with that. Let's do this. What's up, everybody? ICNV Drivers Edition, checking back in with you. We're gonna have a quick conversation. So, in this video, I'm out cruising in the Corvette, but I think it's only right that I'm in the vet when I get ready to talk to you about the Corvette C8 that everybody wants to know about, and that's the Z06. So in this episode, let's get into my predictions for the allocations of the Corvette C8. And I'm going to tell you how I came up with them. I can't wait to see how the C8 marketplace turns out. If I can get my hands on one, how long it takes, and what we got to do to make it happen. When it comes to the C8 Z06, what I'm expecting to happen is I'm expecting the number one dealer to see somewhere between 220 to say 350 Corvettes. And that's a huge spread, and I'm going to tell you why. I can't cover every dealership, but if you have questions about a particular dealership, you can give me information on them. We'll definitely discuss them, and I can give you my predictions on them. But this is going to be a little bit tricky. But yeah, I'm going to explain to you how I got to it. I expect the top 5 dealers to see a combined total of 600 to 750 Corvette C8 Z06s. I expect the top 10 dealerships combined total to be somewhere right around 900 to 1200 C8 Z06s. So that's the big bam mic drop. Let's get into this conversation and see how it goes. Now I'll explain to you how I got to my numbers. I'm sure I'm going to be really, really close. So let's move from the C8 and this cool ride to showing you how I broke this information down. First off, I want to take a moment to say thank you to everybody that has supported the channel. Thank you for checking out the website. If you haven't been there already, www.icnvde.com. We got some merchandise and apparel for sale. Any purchases you make, we greatly appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. But for those of you that don't know, we are participating in Crown Rally next year. So yay, we're happy for that. So moving forward, until January 1st, any purchases made, we're giving 20% of the profits to Rally for a Cause. If you don't know about that organization, I suggest you look it up. But we have some more information in the description below. But anyway, please, again, thank you for supporting ahead of time. Check out the website, get you some merchandise. This nice shirt, for example, for all you C8 lovers. But let's get back into why you're here. Talking about the Corvette C8 allocations. Anybody can do basic math. So we heard in all the previews and the reveals and so forth that Taj said the Z06 production was going to be somewhere between 20% and 25% of the total production of the Corvette C8. Most people, because the 2020 numbers are available, most people have been taking the 2020 numbers and calculating 20% off those numbers or 25% off those numbers and trying to say this is what the productions and allocations will be. I know this is a hot topic right now for everybody waiting for Sciocco lists. You want to know will or will you not be able to get a Z06 in the first year? And I'm about to tell you as best as anybody possibly can whether or not you will see a Z06 in the first year, or matter of fact, pretty much in any year that they produce the car. If you take the 2020 C8 numbers and you multiply it by 20% and 25%, you get a range. But that's pretty much how you're seeing these people come up with these numbers. I'm going to tell you how I came up with my allocation numbers and why I'm slightly a little bit more advanced than what you're actually seeing. So taking the 2020 Corvette C8 numbers is the simplest way you can get at it. If you take 20% based off the 2020 numbers, you're looking at about 173 vehicles for allocation. If you take 25%, you're looking at 217. Realistically, I believe their allocations will fall slightly higher than that. But looking anywhere between that is a fair assumption, and I can understand how you got to those calculations. So we're just going to focus on the top 10 because it's easier, although I feel like the top 100 is key, and I'll tell you why. For the number one dealership, you're looking at 173 to 217 cars. If the production is 20 to 25%. For number two, you're looking at about 155 to 195 cars. Now remember, they will never exceed the number one dealer. So if the number one dealer gets 173 cars, they're probably most likely going to get 155. If they get 208, they probably won't see 195. They may see 180 something. But it's going to trickle down. So number three, say 64 to 80 cars. Number four, 61 to 77. Number five, about 59 to 74. Number six, 47 to 58. Number seven, somewhere between 34 and 42. Number eight, 26 to 33. Number nine, 26 to 32. Number 10, quite the same as number 9, probably about 26 to 32. That's the way to calculate it if you're focusing primarily on the 2020 numbers. I'm going to talk to you about the 2021 production. For 2021, Corvette sales increased by 28%. The U.S. market saw an increase by 26%. So what does that mean? That means the allocations should be based off the most recent sales instead of the previous year's sales. And that's what I'm using to come up with my numbers. So when we look at the new increase, and since we all follow the number one dealer so tightly, towards the end of the year, I believe they had an increase for about 53 cars from the year before, somewhere around that number, don't quote me. Using that number is how I came up with the percentage of increase for the top 100 dealers, which was around 14%. So let's use that information to apply towards the top 10 dealers and see where their allocations will fall. What you can expect for the bare minimum, and this is where I would actually say you should be looking for your Z06 allocation. I would say that number from 217 is going to increase to about 228 cars. The number two dealer will have about 204 cars. Number three, about 84 units. Number four, 81 units. Number five, 77 units. Number six, 62. Number seven, 45. Number eight, 35. And number 9 and number 10, respectively, about 34 cars. I'm expecting that to be the bare minimum allocations the top 10 dealers see. If you have a number within there, there is a 90% chance you're going to see a C8 Z06 for 2023 model year. Now, here's the key. There are some dealers, just like in 2020, that did not see a base C8 that will upfront tell you they probably will not see a Corvette C8 Z06 for a 2023 model year. But they will probably see one or two for 2024. Easter egg. The dealers I've talked to so far that pretty much have made those disclaimers to me, their lists are very short. I was speaking to one that told me that they only had 3 people on their list and they expect to see maybe 1 or 2 cars. But because they're not expecting to get one in 2023, their list hasn't really taken off. Unfortunately, they were talking about 10 to 15 grand over MSRP for those of you that cared. But That's why I tell people all the time, there are ways and there are opportunities to get cars. You got to look and you got to think. If you're going to sit on Sioka's list and wait for a 2024 or a 2025, there are still some small dealers that may not see one for 2023, but you'll probably see one in 2024 or 2025. So why did I mention that to you guys? Because I want you to understand that every dealer is not going to see a C8 Z06 in the first year, and that is very key. What you need to understand is when it comes to the top 100 dealers, the number one dealer doesn't usually change based off the allocation process. Their relationship is more dealt with GM because GM understands they are the workhorse when it comes to moving the Corvettes. So their allocation is more built around their percent of the market share that they maintain when it comes to the top 100 dealers. So if you look at it from that point of view, you will realize that because they are the workhorse, when it comes to getting to Z06 or ZR1, they usually get the most allocations of those type of vehicles. That's why I expect the number one dealership to get more Z06s than just the basic math allocation that we can throw out there. And with that being said, I focus on their percent of the marketplace when it comes to calculating the number of allocations I believe the dealership will actually see. And you got to remember, sometimes you may get a 10.6 or a 10.7 cars. There's no such thing as 28.2 cars or 28.5. If you do the math, using those calculations, there's about 53 floating cars in the top 100 dealers. With those 53 floating cars, I kind of spreaded them out based off how they control the market share. I want to explain something or touch bases with everybody about the C8 Z06 allocation. In the video with Austin, Taj said they're trying to get back to regular production numbers. Their goal is to get about 30,000 C8s produced in at least a year. So if they can get 30,000 units made, they're looking to have 20 to 25% of those cars be Z06s. So if you do the calculation off of that, you're looking at about 6,000 to 7,500. With that information revealed, if you listen to the wording, I'm talking about all the engineers that have been speaking in YouTube videos or on Jay Leno's Car Garage and so forth. If you listen to all the things they say, I feel like their target, and I say their target, is regardless of what the production numbers are. I believe their target is 6,000 Z06s for 2023. So I say that to you to say that if they can only produce 20,000, they're still going to do 6,000 Z06s. If they can produce 24,000, they're still going to produce 6,000 Z06s. Now I feel like once they eclipse 24,000, you will start to see that 6,000 numbers start to go up. All the way to if they get to 30,000 units, they'll probably produce somewhere between 6,000 and 7,500 Corvette C8 Z06s. And this is going to make you take a step back. If you look at the history, like with the Corvette ZR1, in 2019, the Corvette ZR1 was a limited production vehicle. When it hit the market, not every dealership saw a Corvette ZR1. I can't remember where it was said at. Don't remember if it was a forum, but again, this is back when ZR1s were a hot topic. But somewhere along the lines, when I was looking up the ZR sales and so forth, between the top 100 dealerships that sold C7 ZR1s, Quebec sold 13% of the market out of the top 100 dealers. If you look at that, on limited production vehicles, when the Z06 first came out back in 2015, Quebec, the number one dealer, still had around 12% of the market space out of the top 100 dealers selling Z06s. Not every Corvette dealer saw a Z06. I don't feel like any of that is going to change today. So looking at it that way, if I actually go into the mind frame of looking at how C8 sales and Z06 sales historically have been, what you start to realize is out of total C8 sales, the top 100 dealers sell right around 41% of the market. When you look at actual Z06 sales or ZR1 sales, pretty much limited edition vehicles or special vehicles or variants of a Corvette, the top 100 dealers usually sell between 42 and 46% of all those special vehicles that hit the market. So if I'm looking at it from that point of view, and this is what I think you have to take in consideration, those numbers go up. And this is how I'm coming to my numbers. At 6,000 units and 42% of the marketplace going to the top 100 dealers, and then looking at how much of the market space, which is about close to 11%, I think it's like 10.5, 10.8 for the number one dealer, their numbers will increase to 272 units. If they control 46% of the market space, that number goes up to 326 units. Now we're falling into what I believe is the true allocation for the Corvette C8 Z06. And just in case you really cared, if they actually got to 7,500 units, and with them controlling the market space as a limited production vehicle like with the ZR1, you're looking at possibly up to 407 units. I don't think they'll get there, but at best case scenario, they won't eclipse 407 units in 1 year. So for those of you wishing upon a star and you saying, hey, I got a chance, 407 is what you're looking at as the probably all-time max you will see for allocations. For the 2023 allocations, the number two dealers are looking somewhere between 240 and 263 cars. The number three dealers looking about 103 to 113. The number four dealers looking about 98 to 107 cars. Number five is about 94 to 103. Number six is about 75 to 83. Number 7 is about 56 to 62 cars. Number 8 is 45 to 50 cars. Number 9 and 10, respectively, probably somewhere between 44 to 48 cars. And now, for those of you who just wishing upon a star, if they can get to 7,500 units, we're looking at these numbers. The number one dealer will get about 407 cars. Number two will get about 353. Number three will get about 165. Number four will get about 141. Number 5 will get about 134. Number 6 will get about 110. Number 7 will get about 84 cars. Number 8 will get about 69. And number 9 and 10 respectfully will get right around 66. Now, I will sit there and say this to you. I'm not the only one coming up with some form of calculations like this, because I have spoken to Les Stanfield, the number 3 dealer, and their projections are somewhere in the 90s to 100 cars, or at least that's what one of the salesmen told me, that if I went through them, I could get a car at MSRP, and I'll probably be looking year 2, possibly year 3. When I originally reached out to them, his words was they're expecting to sell somewhere between 90 to 100 cars. That's what I predict for year 2023 models. 2024 will probably be somewhere right around the same range. I don't expect them to hit 7,500 cars for 2023. Regardless of how it plays out, I just don't expect them to hit it. But at the same point in time, I do expect them for one model year, and I said for one model year, to at least get close to 35% of Corvette production to be specifically and only specifically the Z06. I don't know if that will be 2024, if that will be 2025. I don't expect them to hit 7,500 cars the first year. I expect the most for them to ever make in 1 year will probably be around 10,000. I know in the past I said 12, but with all the information being shared, I really think the most they will ever produce in 1 year will probably be 10,000 cars. And why do I say that to you? Because I believe the E-Ray is going to come out as either a 2024 model or a 2025 model, which once it comes out, I feel like the E-Ray and the Z06 will always compete with each other for the controlling value of the Corvette market, meaning they're both probably going to be between 20% and 25% of total production, not together, individually. In total Corvette production, you're probably going to have the E-Ray being 20%, the Z06 being 25%, and they're making up 45% of the total Corvette production. At some point down the line, you're still going to have that battle going on, whether it's the E-Ray being 22% and the Z06 being 23%, and they introduced the ZR1, which may make up 10 to 15%. I think Zora is going to end up probably being 10%. So at one point, you're going to have at least 60 to 70% of the market of the Corvette production not being the base C8. With that being said, you can kind of calculate them out. For 2023, I really expect or project the Z06 production to be just around 6,000 or slightly above it. Following year, I expect it to increase by like 14%, and probably the same thing one more time the year behind. Let me know what you think of my calculations and my predictions for the Corvette allocations of the Z06. And I hope this video helped explain to you how I got to my numbers and why I truly believe that these numbers will be the actual production ranges or the allocation ranges for the Corvette C8 Z06. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, please hit the like and subscribe, share the video. Also, don't forget to check out the website. Please support, help us grow. Again, 20% of all profits are going to Rally for a Cause. Thanks again for tuning in. ICNV Drivers Edition. See you in the next video. Peace.